Hi there, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from Key Largo. Let me turn this down right here. Yes, a live episode. Let me stop this stuff, the music. Quiet that down. I'm hoping that you're getting a good volume from me, but things have changed in the last 20 hours since we released our previous episode. Just last night we get there's an outbreak, there's a reported outbreak of coronavirus in the White House led by, and I'm sure everyone heard, Hope Hicks, and we find out this morning or late last night that Donald and Melania have it, and they're and it just came over the news, is now 20 of 10, Jared and Ivanka don't. But Hope Hicks was traveling as of Wednesday. Hope Hicks was traveling with the White House. They were going to, I think Wednesday, they went to a New Jersey fundraiser at one of the estates of Trump. And, it's really hard to consider the, what's real and what isn't. Because this was leaked. I think the information was leaked. That, but they wouldn't be able to keep that secret. If they kept it secret, that would be a big deal. Now there's questions whether McEnany, the press secretary, knew of the Hope Hicks, who she spent some time with very recently, of her positive results, and she's actually feeling the symptoms. She's symptomatic, and there's reports that the president is feeling sluggish and things like that. So we don't, right now it's coming out of the White House. So if you're out of the ilk that not I'm of the ilk that most of the information that comes out of the White House only comes out of the White House truthfully if it helps the administration, and the bad news that comes out of the White House is always gilded with some type of misleading information. So we don't know right now. There's a lot of reporting on there, but there are potentialities, because if Trump was viewing it through the eyesight of Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, that he was similar to Trump, very lackadaisical about trying to enforce face masks, social distancing, and things like that, did not promote it wholeheartedly, because it seemed like, I think for Trump, it seemed like his base did not like it. So that's one of the reasons. But by the president's reaction, he always liked it he liked the idea that people had to be tested when they came to see him and all these things. And also, there's a jobless report coming out tonight. Jobs report, I should call it a jobless report. The unemployment rate is 8%. The jobs added are 660,000 in September. In a regular year, that would be stupendous. But there's already a deficit of 10 million jobs still, and that 660,000 new jobs is actually really. And new reports coming in. Breaking news is that President Trump has mild symptoms. It's coming out. He has mild symptoms. So we don't know what it's going to have with that, whether he's going to be double dosing himself with that hydrochloroquine or whatever. The facts are that there are very little facts unless we come out and we see him. I mean, even then, there have been so many misleading reports coming out of the White House that it begs people to say, well, what can we report on, especially when they're not even making any official statements yet. They're just releasing them through the the press, and maybe. So what do we believe? So if he expects, if it's a possibility that this is a ploy, one ploy, since they're good. You got Alex Jones, you got Rush Limbaugh, you have Hannity, you have Laura Ingraham. I know there's a lot. There's several people on the progressive side that are similar in outlook to me. This could be a ploy to avoid the next debate, which preparation-wise, I think most of even the people that coached Trump, that was Christie and Giuliani. Giuliani doesn't speak on the microphone anymore, but Christie did. Christie came out and said he gave a poor grade to the president for him coming out of there. He said he came out a little hot, where he should have been a little more mellow. So that's from one of the people that coached him. So if Trump comes out and says, most people think he won, that's not true. We see that was the desperation of a man who couldn't follow the own rules that his campaign agreed to with the Presidential Debate Committee. And as of yesterday, the reports coming out from the Trump camp and from Trump himself, that they did not want to change the rules because they don't want to have they didn't say this is the reason, but the rules for shutting down the mics would be hindering the disruptive factor. The only strength that Trump has is disrupting and being outrageous. So he doesn't have any additional information. He throws out, caustic talking points, talking about Hunter Biden and shit like that. And he was just very fortunate that this last debate, they didn't dwell too long on the coronavirus, because this would have been like 3 days, 2 days later, that 2.5 days later, that he could say, hey, listen, do you feel that the precautions that you took? And they didn't dwell real, long on that. He just pulled a mask out of his pocket, and we all saw that his family and supporters at the debate weren't wearing a mask, even though representatives of the Cleveland Clinic were urging them to please wear masks while they were indoors, but they chose not to, and that was as a means to the dog whistle to their supporters, to their anti-maskers. Currently in Florida, we have a governor, DeSantis. It's DeSantis. DeSantis. I keep on thinking Satan. But he opened up 100% last Friday, giving very little, not telling his hand to the restaurants any earlier to prepare for it, but he just opened everyone up wide. And I had, on that day, on Friday when the governor opened up, I had customers telling me what we could and could not do, which was incorrect. We had, you don't have to wear a mask, you do this, you don't have to do that. Oh, we can do whatever we want as as a business. We can choose to serve you or not serve you. So if you choose not to wear a mask, and you have the right not to wear a mask, but we have the right not to serve you if you don't wear a mask, because that's a public health issue. And now this thing is going to really change. So there's a possibility. I said that Boris Johnson, I mentioned that post Boris Johnson getting COVID-19, ending up in the ICU for 3 days, came out and he got a lot of sympathy. But that sympathy has kind of gone away in the United Kingdom, and he's back to where he was prior to it. If Trump's hoping to get that, I don't think he's going to, because of how strongly he did it to the nth degree. There was only one other person that publicly made a point of not being, being so anti-preventative, and that was the president of Brazil, and he suggested that wearing a mask was for pussies. So it's, I would suggest that if you're trying to protect someone, you're not a pussy, because protectors are given the highest, just like police officers are wonderful, men and women of the armed services that protect us, and the frontline workers, and EMTs, doctors, nurses, people that work in hospitals, people that work in the supply chain to make sure that we have everything. They are protecting us too when they use precaution and use hygienic responses to respond to COVID-19. So we have all these things coming to us. We have 1 month. Tomorrow will be 1 month to Election Day. We have a lot of obstruction going on. We have the governor of Texas reducing the amount of areas that we can turn in absentee ballots. We have a concerted effort on part of the GOP to restrict voting, restrict the process of counting the votes. There are on the right-wing sympathizing news networks, they're suggesting that maybe the Secretary of State for Colorado, who's suggesting do not call, is encouraging news sources not to start reporting or speculating as to the winner, because there's going to be a process because of all the mail-in votes, which is true. So people that are sick, people that are afraid of becoming sick, or that they won't show up. I am going to try my damnedest. I'm not going to. If I ended up being positive, I won't be able to vote in person. But I'm thinking about. I'm definitely going to do the early vote. And if I can't do the early vote, I'll just show up on a day of. So I should be able to do the daily vote. The daily vote in Florida starts a week before, and I'm going to do that and hope it's tabulated correctly. So now let's get on to the next thing. That what does the president have to gain with a positive test for COVID-19? I would say the president and the First Lady. I think the First Lady is probably very healthy. But Trump, since he's been in the White House and prior to being in the White House, the idea that he is the most fit person to have served in the office, which was stated in the first medical review he had in the White House by a White House physician, that was a direct quote, that he was the most healthy person to occupy. And we all know that he wears bigger suits, he wears long ties, and all these things to distract from. He is a big guy. He is a heavy guy. We are not. We used to be when he first came in. When he first came to office, I was a little heavier. Now I'm down to 232. I'm a little more fit. We were the same size, but we weren't in the same category. Now, and people say, well, there's different body shapes stuff. We were same height, same weight. And no one ever called me obese. The president is obese. And he has, most likely because of his dining habits, his affinity for fast foods, KFC, McDonald's, hamburgers. He calls them hamburgers, I think he wrote on there. He's most likely had serious underlying conditions. And so he's most likely he's definitely in that category. And he's feeling mild symptoms right now. They're reporting. So what would he have to gain there? Well, if it's not true, if he doesn't have it, he can sit by while everyone else is scrambling to test themselves. The Biden campaign to test themselves because they may have been exposed to him, and all the Biden camp, they're scrambling when the president may know he wasn't exposed and may know that he's negative, may know. And 2 weeks before, he can say, "Oh, I'm taking hydrochloroquine and stuff like that, and I had amazing recovery." It's a great thing. He could come out like the Messiah. Very extreme cases, he could end up. You can end up. Who knows? They can end up reporting that he died. and then 3 days later report that he came back from the dead. That would be really probably work for some of the evangelicals, because they pretty much there's God, Jesus, and Trump. And I think some of these people actually put Trump above Jesus. So,
call from Abby.
Oh,
say answer or ignore.
I will call you in a moment. Maybe you can't hear me.
I didn't catch that.
Okay.
Say answer or ignore.
I will reply.
I didn't catch that.
Okay.
You missed a call from Abby.
Okay.
Would you like to reply it by text?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to send her a thing. Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh,
Sorry, can you repeat that?
That's my phone talking to me. I am so sorry of it. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to my wife, so she doesn't. Okay, let's see what she says. She says, I'll call her. Okay. I'll call you.
New message from Abby.
Oh, got it. Got it. She just wanted to say she loves me. Okay. Now I'm distracted right here. So we have that, the recovery thing, or we have the, what are the three things I wrote down? I wrote that he's just basically avoiding the debate, or he's using it as a recovery aspect for it, or the other option is he actually has it and they didn't release the information because they weren't sure how it would be received. And in this type of atmosphere, there's got to be strategists and all this stuff, and they got to go, well, how's it going to work for us? Well, they're probably using wishful thinking, saying, well, having it, we're going to think that, but Boris Johnson, I was going to say Boris Yeltsin, Boris Johnson had an uptick, get sympathy vote. He's not going to get a sympathy vote. There's people that are on the fence are going to vote for Trump because he got sick and lied about it, lied about the severity of it. And if the president, and the way they're going to look at it, if the president, the first lady, the president's assistant, if they get positive with all the restrictions and the tests and things, what does that mean for everyone else? I understand that it's only like a 1% and 2% thing for people with underlying conditions. I do understand that. I just believe that the people with underlying condition have just a right to live as the rest of us, and they don't deserve to die. Their lives aren't worth less than someone without underlying conditions. And that was always a question whenever I said, yeah, do you know anybody? Now, the nice thing about if it is positive, and I'm not saying I don't wish that he dies, contrary to what you say. Now, if he does die, it's a shame. But isn't it, if you believe in karma and all these things, and, if you're a Trump follower, you're probably not listening to this first, but you are a Trump follower, you're a big believer in that, threatening people, and you don't have a problem with other people threatening people, right-wing militias and things like that. So you're going to be able to accept that, here's a guy that said that like a miracle this would go away. Now, this is if he is sick, if he is actually sick. Now they'll find out that whether this hydrochloroquine thing is not actually won't prove it, because he may have a mild case of it. I don't think someone in his condition could possibly be mild. So that's pretty much what I have to say, and we're going to find out in the next couple of days how serious it is, because the tweets, we'll see by the tweets what they made it, who's controlling the accounts, because the tweets that come out, they're going to have to, if they're going to have someone else have to send out the tweets, they're going to have to now it's very interesting trying to copy the president's tweets. They're going to have to misspell like he misspells, make certain type of bold, crazy statements. If someone gets on there and starts being reasonable tweeting and start being understanding and starts having empathy for other people, so if that's not the if they're not following those rules, if they're acting like a much kinder person, people are going to know that it's not him tweeting. Now, he could end up being tweeting, could get even a little crazier. Who knows what kind of tweets are going to come out? I mean, what are they going to do with it? And I guess right now if he's feeling mild symptoms, they probably aren't applying all the orange makeup to him. No pun intended. I guess that's because you can't tell Trump anything. There's nobody who could tell him that doesn't not look good. It's got to be someone has to say, "Oh yeah, you look great in orange, boss. You look great. It matches your hair color." So maybe sometimes his hair is pictured as gray, kind of gray, light blonde, real light blonde, kind of orangey blonde, but the skin too. Skin is pretty much tan, orange. It's a tanning stuff he uses, because there's no way he gets in a tanning booth. I mean, I can't imagine that there's any place that would come in and he'd have to undress himself. He'd have to lay down on a hard glass surface, which I probably wouldn't want to do. I don't think the guy's ever exercised a day in his life. So time is going to do for this particular thing. Time will do the thing. If he recovers, he's going to use it as a tool. And if there's no repercussions for it, and we know there's a certain amount of time where people don't get seriously displaying the symptoms. So, this could be used against the American people again. But on a lighter note, I did mention yesterday on the previous show on episode 331. I think it's 331. Let's double check that. 331. I have a couch arriving today, which is good news. The wife and I went and picked out 2 weeks ago. We were in Miami. We picked out a couch, and I mentioned how they're all electric now and different features on them and stuff like that. And we got ourselves a nice couch. Obviously, they're a lot pricier than I remember them being before, but we're getting it delivered, and they give you a live update on delivery. So right now, mine's showing up at 10:30 to 11. I think what they do is they got like one more stop or two more stops, and we're going to find out. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm giving live updates. Let's see. I'm in Key Largo. They're in Marathon. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put it. They send me the RTG delivery. Track the order. Here we go. It was 10:30 to 11. Now it says 10:40 to 11:10. So it's getting later and later. They are now in. They're in Almirada. They're on the way. They are at what delivery are they at? They're at number 4. I'm number 6, so they got one more to go. Pretty good. I'm going to get it. I'm going to have a new couch by noon, and then I'll probably drop a quick. My wife gave me marching orders to make sure I inspect it. And I don't want to say anything till I get it, because it better not, because I won't trash on the internet. We got to give you a chance to recover that. But let's see what happens. Okay, what we got here? Rebrand. Okay. Who's this kisses with? No. Oh. Wow. Well, that was crazy. Okay. Well, this is Jim the Keys Bartender. It's going to be a short one today. I'd like to thank you for listening. I'm going to send you out with this and talk to you later. Bye.